Hey, good evening, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. Happy Forbidden Door Sunday. This is The Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here, as I try to remember how to fucking do my overlays here, because it's been a long night. But I hope you're all having a good, I hope you're all having a good night. Hope you're having a good into your weekend. Hopefully this weekend was fun for you. Hopefully you got some stuff done, got some work done, all that fun stuff. I just finished watching AEW's Forbidden Door, one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. And man, AEW, I will say, man, they've been killing it. For all the doom and gloom and all the like, oh, they're gonna um no, so Afternoon Tune, shout out to them. No, I didn't hear about the guy from Baby. Uh, oh yeah, dude, AEW's great. Um, yeah, so I've talked about it. I don't really watch. I keep track of what's going on in WWE. I'll occasionally watch, a show here and there, but I don't actively watch the product. It's not for me. And honestly, with the Vince McMahon scandal still looming, I personally don't feel right watching WWE. If you do, no judgment to you. I'm not gonna preach at you. But oh, so the guy from Baby Reindeer got in a little trouble for dating an actress who was auditioning for the show. Huh. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll see if anything comes of it, I suppose. But yeah. But for me, yeah, for me, I don't. Uh, okay, actress says she wasn't a victim. Okay, well then I think it's much ado about nothing then. But yeah, for WWE, it's kind of the Disney shit. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of similar in the way that I have people go like, oh, I don't like watching Disney stuff anymore because they have such a chokehold on the industry. Which is why companies like DreamWorks, like A24, like Neon, that's why those organizations are so important. And so, I think that for myself, and I'll just say for myself, um, this is another reason why you need to support shit that's outside of the norm. If there's something that you like, and again, it's not just seeing it, but talk that shit up. One of my favorite films, 9 Days, that's come out in the last 5 years. It's very much an indie movie, but it's a movie I tell everyone to fucking see because 9 Days is absolutely incredible. It's one of those movies that will make you think. It's a movie that's stuck with me. It's one of my favorite scores in a film, and that's a very much an indie film. But but in the same way that I would never tell someone to just watch WWE or just watch AEW. Like, don't limit yourself to one thing. If you're passionate about animation, watch some anime, watch some 2D animation, watch 3D, watch CGI. Like, don't limit yourself to one thing just because you think you like it. You're gonna find other things that you do like if you go ahead and just cast a wider net. There's nothing wrong with that. And I wish that was actually, encouraged, especially in the world of wrestling, because while I'm not watching WWE actively, someone like Kevin Owens, I fucking adore Kevin Owens. I love Rhea Ripley, not just because she's hot, but I've been a fan of Rhea Ripley's for a while. I love Roxanne Perez over there, and yeah, shout out to Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews, who's over in AEW. Congrats to them for getting married. What a good looking couple. Like, what a couple that just looks hot together. Yeah, so congratulations to them. I love Finn Balor. I love Cody Rhodes. The motherfucker helped start AEW, and now he's one of the biggest stars I mean, he's the guy in WWE. And, and I know I've said this before on the stream, and I'm kind of irritated. I'm kind of tired of saying it, but fuck it, indulge me. Yeah, if you like white people, I mean, I do like white people. Some of them are okay, but but for me, Cody Rhodes is more of a sports entertainer than a more high work rate wrestler, and I don't mean that as a disparaging thing, but his persona fits way more in WWE than it did in AEW. So when he made the jump to WWE, I wasn't mad at him for it. I think he pigeonholed himself like a motherfucker with that ridiculous stipulation that they had, a month, like 2 months in the fucking AEW's existence, where he could never challenge for the world title if he lost to Chris Jericho, which was a mistake. And even Cody said that's a mistake. I think the moment that happened, it just kind of opened things up for him to be able to to go ahead and go back to WWE. So there's people I really do like over in WWE. I like Mia Yim. I'm blanking on other people. I love Gunther. Love Sami Zayn. Like there's a lot of good stuff that they're doing over in WWE. But like I said, I personally, I don't like 5-match pay-per-views. Or PLEs, pardon me, premium live events. I'm over the whole Bloodline storyline. I think they're dragging that shit out. Like I understand what they're building towards. I understand it means Roman Reigns is coming back. I get that before anyone jumps on my ass. But I think it's long. It's ran its course personally. But like I said, if you like WWE, cool. That's awesome. But don't be one of those. Don't be one of those assholes who wants places to go out of business, especially when there are people looking for work like myself. Like don't be that asshole. Like, oh, I hope AEW goes out of business. Like that's a shitty thing to say. So you're actively rooting for people to lose their jobs, and that makes you a dick. So go fuck yourself if you're one of those WWE fans, and if you're one of those AEW fans who wants WWE to go out of business, you're no better. So now that I have everyone pissed off at me, let's talk about AEW Forbidden Door. So I'm just gonna run through the card pretty quick. I've been screaming a lot today because I just finished watching the show. So I don't know how long I'm gonna stream, but we'll see. So beer always helps. So yeah, let's start at the pre-show here. So Kyle Fletcher, who just lost his Ring of Honor Television Championship. He went ahead and had a one-on-one match with Serpentico. To be honest, there was no reason for this match to be on the show except to give Fletcher a win. But considering you had 14 matches, 10 on the main card, you really didn't need this match. So yeah, like as far as a letter grade, I'll give it a D just because I was happy that Fletcher got a win, but really unnecessary match, didn't need to be here. Moving on, we had a four-way tag title match or four-way tag match with the Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black and Brody King. They went ahead and took on Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii from New Japan. And then we had Roderick Strong and Gabe Kidd of New Japan, from New Japan Wrestling, and then Private Party in a four-way tag match. Really enjoyed the match. Some really great striking and just some great wrestling overall. The match ended when Brody King and Malachi Black hit the Gonzo bomb to Isaiah Cassidy of Private Party to go ahead and get the win. This feels, again, like another nice win for the House of Black as they continue to build momentum, and we will eventually get Buddy Matthews back. That might even be the trios match at All In. It might be House of Black against the Patriarchy. That would be Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, or Killswitch, pardon me, and Nick Wayne. I do think the Bullet Club Gold, good God, the Bang Bang Gang, I think they're going to lose those trios titles. before All In. Or potentially what we could happen is we get a three-way trios match where we get House of Black versus the Patriarchy versus versus Bull Club Gold. That could be the match too. So there's a couple directions they could go for that. I think a trios match would actually be a lot of fun. Yeah, they could do that. So there's a couple directions they could go there. Moving on, we had Willow Nightingale and Tom Nakano versus Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe from I believe they're from Stardom, if memory serves. Tam Nakano and Momo Watanabe. So I will say I watch a decent amount of Stardom. She is in Star. They're both from Stardom. So going back to what I originally said to kind of start off the show, watch other wrestling. Don't just watch WWE. Don't just watch AEW. Watch TNA. Watch GCW. Watch PWG. Watch Rev Pro. Like there's so much wrestling. Watch Stardom. Jesus Christ, watch Stardom, please. Stardom's great. Watch New Japan. Like there's so much wrestling out there for you to go ahead and consume. Like don't limit yourself just to one company or one style. New Japan's got some great shit. My only real complaint about New Japan is I wish the New Japan app worked better here in the States. I know that's something that they said that they've been working on. I will probably look into that here later this year. They actually announced tonight that New Japan, AEW, CMLL, and Stardom are all going to join together for a Tokyo Dome show in January. So this is very early to say this. I might be looking into going to that show. I might be like, I've never been out of the States. Going to Japan would kind of kick ass. So I might make that jump. I'm really thinking about it because I think that show will be one of the best shows that happens all next year. So I'm really considering going to that show. I am going to definitely be going to an AEW show in the next 4 months or so. I'm trying to debate if I want to go to All Out, which is September 7th, I believe, in Chicago. I've never been to Chicago, and I think Chicago would be a really fun trip. So I'm really thinking about that. Or I might wait until October and go to Wrestle Dream, which is in Tacoma. So I'm looking at a couple AEW shows, at least one. I've never been to Chicago, man. I want to get out there. So that might be the trip just because, I'd love to see a concert there. I'd love to see a Bulls game. Like I'd love to make a weekend of it. So the go to Wiener Circle when you're there. Okay. I know for myself, the pay-per-view's on a Saturday, which I really like because that means I could fly in, Thursday morning, get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then fly back Monday morning. Because after a pay-per-view like this, I would need a day to recover. I would need some time. So I might do that. I'll keep you all updated on that because I would love to go ahead and get some meet up with some of my Twitter wrestling fan friends on there, and so I'd really like to do that. But getting back to this match here, really fun tag match. Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. The fact that they're meeting on Wednesday in the Owen Hart Cup semifinals on the women's bracket. I'm really excited for that match. Statlander's probably gonna win. So that means we'll probably get a Chris Statlander Mariah May final is what I'm guessing. But that'll be a fun match. But the story of this match though was Statlander constantly avoiding Willow, which was great, just great fucking heel heat. That's how you do it. But in the end, we ended up having Nakano go ahead and get the pin on Watanabe with a hammerlock German suplex, which looked fucking gorgeous. Oh yeah, I didn't rate the last tag match, the 4-way. I did give that a B minus. Really enjoyed it. This match, actually enjoyed it more than the prior match, so I would give this a solid B myself. So yeah, really great start here on the pre-show, and then to close out the actually we had 2 more matches on the pre-show. Mariah May, my future ex-wife, love Mariah May. Mariah May. She went ahead and took on Saraya in a Own Heart Foundation women's tournament semifinal, and they had a really good match. Really liked the match they had. Saraya, I know she wasn't wrestling a ton. I think she might have had some lingering injuries, but she went ahead and she's really starting to put the work back in. You can definitely see that she's like kind of getting back more in the ring shape just with her cardio and everything. But in the end, this was really a showcase from Mariah May, really just showing how she's able to sell things with her facial expressions and really play a great babyface. And so it ended up May ended up winning. Really great stuff. Her striking has really improved a lot, especially for forearms. She really has breakout potential. And I'll talk about the AEW women's division later on as I get deeper into the review. But really enjoyed this match. Solid B minus from me personally. And then this was the last match on the 0 hour. We had Yoda Suji, I think is how you say it, Titan, and then Hiromu Tanahashi versus Mystico and the Lucha Brothers, which I'll be real, this was great. I love Lucha Bros. I love the fucking Lucha Bros. I know Pentagon or Penta El Zero Miro's contract is like up in the air as far as if he's going to go to WWE or resign for AEW. I hope he resigns with AEW, obviously for selfish reasons, just because I fucking love the dude. But I think the fact he's able to work Mexico, I think Penta's going to end up. I think Penta's going to end up staying. One of the weaknesses, or really the main weakness, I would say right now with AEW, is their tag team division. The Young Bucks are taking on the Acclaimed sooner than later, defending the tag titles against them. The Young Bucks should retain against the Acclaimed, but let's get the Lucha Bros back in the tag title scene. I know Pac is a member. I know they're Death Triangle with Pac, but we can have the Lucha Bros go after the tag titles. Plus them and the Bucks just work so fucking well together. But in the end, they went. It was Mystico who went ahead and tapped out Titan with an arm bar. If you haven't seen Mystico, if you just know him from his Sin Cara run in WWE, do yourself a favor, look up some CMLL stuff with him. Mystico is fucking awesome, and he's treated like the big deal that he deserves to be. So if you haven't seen him outside WWE, I highly recommend that you go ahead and I would definitely recommend going ahead and looking that up, looking up some of his stuff. All right, so let me take a sip of my beer here real quick. That's good stuff. All right, so then we got to the main card. So we open up tonight with God, I can never remember how you say his name. Not Hecacero. I think it's Hecacero. I'm gonna go with Hecacero. But I know him. You know him from CMLL, known as the Mad Scientist. He just knows all these different types of submissions and ways to twist your body and fuck with your limbs. He's nicknamed the Mad Scientist for a reason. Taking on the hometown boy, taking on Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF. His first pay-per-view match since last November, since MJF's been on the shelf. So this is a big time coming out party for MJF, going ahead and coming back out, donned in Nets colors, which was a which was a very nice touch. One thing I was really pleasantly surprised by in this match is that they had MJF really playing on the defensive this match. He really went through the ringer. Uh, Hecacero went ahead and worked the shoulder because, as you know, MJF had surgery on that shoulder. So that was the story of the match, going ahead and just working that shoulder, finding all sorts of different ways to go ahead and tweak the shoulder and twist it and wrench at it, and was fucking awesome. Really, MJF sold it like a boss because MJF is one of the best fucking wrestlers in the world. One thing that I really enjoyed is not just because he went ahead and was the babyface in peril, but MJF really sold the danger of that shoulder, and I think that's going to be a story that plays out more throughout the year as we go ahead and get through the end of the year. Did MJF come back too soon? Is that shoulder 100%? Like, I think there's a lot of stories you can mine from that. But in the end, MJF hit this. I really like that he's doing this, by the way. MJF has been using the heat-seeking pile driver, which is a pile driver where the guy's tied up in the ropes, and MJF uses the ropes for leverage and then drops down. He's been using that heat seeker to win matches. He's been using the salt of the earth, the Fujiwara armbar. But what he's been using now since he's come back, and it was the first move he actually hit on Adam Cole when he came back at Double or Nothing, is the Brainbuster. And the Brainbuster is a great fucking move. I wish more people would actually use it, to be honest. But I really enjoyed that he won off the Brainbuster. It makes the move look dangerous, and that's just another move that MJF can put in his arsenal, in his repertoire. So I really enjoyed that they used this match to get the move over. It makes you realize, like, okay, MJF can use this to win matches as well. So really enjoyed the match. Solid B+ for me, I would say. Moving on, we had Scissor Me Ace, the Acclaim, teaming up with Hiroshi Tanahashi, which, my God, I never thought that would happen. But we had them team up with to take on the Elite. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson are EVPs and current AEW Tag Team Champions, as well as the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. My God, one of the best in the fucking game right now. So I will say, I've talked about this before. I like the Acclaimed. I think the shtick has run its course from a face perspective. I actually would like to see them turn. I'd like to see them turn them heel if they're going to keep the Acclaim going. If they want to break the Acclaimed up, which at this point, to be honest, I would prefer. Anthony Bowens is the face. I think Anthony Bowens is easily the face. He's put in the work. He's in incredible shape. He's in the best shape he's been in since he entered AEW. And not Anthony Bowens, Max Caster just comes across like so whiny online and like kind of a dick. Not even kind of a dick, like a dick. I think you could easily just go ahead and I think you could very easily be that sort of guy that you just hate. So I think that would actually be the route to go. But they did. There's a lot of fun stuff in here that I thought was actually pretty funny. There was a point the Bucks went ahead and had headsets on. They're like noise canceling, so they couldn't go ahead and listen, hear the fans go ahead and boo them. Yeah, I really like that. Outside of that, I will say, I will say for the Bucks, I do wonder about this EVP type gimmick that they're doing. There was a point where the crowd straight up was alternating like CM Punk and fuck CM Punk chants. And when they're doing that and they're not invested in what's going on in the ring, that there's something going on. I will say myself, I think that one thing that that AEW has done that they might need to go ahead, that they need to consider changing, is having some of these pay-per-views in the same spots. They had Wrestle Dream in Tacoma last year. They typically have All Out in Chicago. I think for Forbidden Door, I'd like to see them change the venue up. Like, I think even going to someplace like Denver or maybe even Texas, like doing it in like Austin or something like that. I think it's time. Like, I think the Forbidden Door concept. I was seeing some discourse about like, oh, they need to just cancel the Forbidden Door pay-per-view completely. And no, that's fucking stupid. Don't do that. Forbidden Door is such a fun pay-per-view, and it gets people to recognize talent that they just may never have seen before. So I don't do that. Do not cancel Forbidden Door. It would be really stupid. So yeah, don't do that. But with that said, I do think it's time to move the venue to another spot personally. But in the end, we did go ahead and get Tanahashi and Okada going at it for a bit, which was really the highlight of the match for me, given their New Japan history. In the end, Okada went ahead and was able to utilize an amazing drop kick, probably the best drop kick in the industry still. Okada was able to go ahead and hit the Rainmaker on Tanahashi, go ahead and getting the win for the Elite. Really dug it. Really fun, solid tag, 6-man tag. I'd go C+. C+ on this. Moving on to the Owen Hart Foundation men's quarterfinal match. We had Bryan Danielson against Shingo Takagi, the Dragon versus the American Dragon. So I have talked about this, and I'm just going to gush here for a moment. It is my show, so indulge me. I love Bryan Danielson. I have loved Bryan Danielson since the 2000s with his work in Ring of Honor. I think Bryan Danielson, I think when it's all said and done, he will go down as my favorite wrestler of all time. Like for years, I told people, pardon me, I told people it's Shawn Michaels, no one else. It's easily, Shawn Michaels is my GOAT. And the more I've thought on it, the more I've just gone like, yeah, Bryan Danielson's the shit. Why is it not universally acknowledged that this guy is the best of all time? And when you look at what he did in WWE, he had some great matches in WWE. Don't misunderstand. The 2 out of 3 falls match with Sheamus at Extreme Rules comes to mind. The Over the Limit match for the World Heavyweight. What's a World Heavyweight? No, for the WWE Championship against CM Punk comes to mind. Daniel, his match against John Cena at SummerSlam. I'm forgetting, his match against Triple H at WrestleMania, and then the triple threat that he won against Batista and Randy Orton at WrestleMania 30 to become the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion. The match he had against Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Danielson's had some great matches in WWE, but what he's done in AEW, I think, will go down as one of the greatest second runs, like back halves of a wrestling career in history. Whether it's his match against Jon Moxley, whether it's his 30-minute draw against Kenny Omega, whether it's his 60-minute Iron Man match against MJF, whether it's his TV match against Rush, whether it's his multiple matches against Eddie Kingston, whether it's pretty much all his matches in the Continental Classic, Bryan Danielson has been god tier. He's been on another level since he's come to AEW, and he's just been crushing it. So seeing that we're going to get him and Shingo Takagi, I was like, oh, let's fucking go. So straight up out the box, this match was violent as hell. I love a good technical match, and that's exactly what this was. Some incredible striking, both men fighting for submissions, fighting for arm bars, heel hooks, both men just trying to go and wear the other one down. Danielson came into the match with his neck taped, playing off of the effects of some matches that he's had recently. Love the way that went ahead and built up. But in the end, Danielson did what Danielson has done really throughout his career. He went ahead and fended off the challenge, and he was able to go ahead and lock in the submission. The way he got in the submission too. One thing I love about Danielson matches is like a submission is rarely just put on. It's like, oh, here you go. I put on the armbar, boom. It really does feel like a UFC fight where there is a struggle. Like whether it's there's a point where Danielson was in like half mount and was trying to get a triangle choke on, and Takagi went ahead and was continuing to block it. And so then Danielson tried to transition to an armbar. He was able to block that, and so and then he tried to go ahead and reverse that into a front chancery and go ahead and get a guillotine choke in. Like it was a really cool chess match to go ahead and see them try to go ahead and just break the other one down. But absolutely loved the match. If not for the main event, it's in my conversation for best matches of the night. But I absolutely loved this match. And so now with Danielson winning, Danielson goes on Wednesday to go ahead and take on Pac, the bastard Pac, in a semifinal match on Wednesday night at AEW Dynamite Beach Break. So I'm stoked for that fucking match and to see what's going to go ahead and happen there. So I'm really excited to see where that how that match is going to play out, because I think that match could be a match of the year candidate. I'm so stoked for that. Moving on, we moved on to what honestly was my second most anticipated matchup of the whole evening, outside the main event. That is our AEW Women's Champion, Timeless Toni Storm, taking on Artist of Stardom Champion Mina Shirakawa. So first off, let me just get out of the way. Both women, oh my god, so fine. Timeless Toni Storm. I've been a huge fan of the gimmick ever since she started the gimmick, because it's weird as a film nerd. The throwbacks, so many references to classic films and stuff like that. I love what Toni Storm is doing, and as someone who's followed Toni Storm's career since Stardom, Toni Storm is fucking special, and I would say this is probably the best work she's done in her career. I think with the Timeless Toni Storm gimmick, she was having good matches, but having great promos. Ever since about 3 months ago, she's really found the balance between the gimmick and wrestling within the gimmick. Ever since she had this match back in April on AEW Collision. I think it was like the 11th, something like that. I think it was like April 11th. Think of something like that. Actually, let me see. April, what was April? So it would have been April 13th, pardon me. Ever since she had this match with AZM from Stardom, it's like she turned a corner and she's figured out how, like I was saying, to wrestle within the gimmick, but still have great matches. And this trend continued here. This has been the best storyline, I think, not just in AEW, but in all of wrestling, because we started off with Toni Storm, Timeless Toni Storm, Mariah May being this obsessed fan of hers, Toni Storm really not giving a shit about her, but letting her kind of just tag along. But over the last several months, she's really grown to love Mariah May and appreciate Mariah May, and is now calling her protege. So all these loving, endearing words and everything from Toni Storm towards Mariah May. But then, for those of you who aren't familiar with the history in Stardom, Mariah May was a tag team, was in a tag team in a group with Mina Shirakawa, Club Venus. And so you have Mariah May in the middle of her protege and really her best friend. And so the way that the AEW's built this up over the last several months has been fucking great, quite frankly. And this is another banger from Timeless Tony Storm, who I do believe right now is the best women's wrestler in the world right now. I think Tony Storm is on another level from everyone else. The story that they told here, Mina Shirakawa went ahead and focused on Tony Storm's knee. So Tony Storm was on the defensive quite a bit in this match. But a lot of great strikes, a lot of back and forth. Mina Shirakawa hit a diving DDT. Hit a diving DDT off the top rope that looked fucking gorgeous. A lot of great leg base attacks, but in the end, Tony Storm hit a ridiculous headbutt, a couple of them in succession, which led to the Storm Zero Power Driver and went ahead and led to her retaining the AEW Women's Championship in an excellent match. Afterwards, she went ahead and stood up while Mariah May stood in between Mina and Tony, but it ended with Tony going ahead and shaking Mina's hand. And so not only did that happen, but then there was a three-way kiss between all three women, which I won't even lie, I blacked out. I can only experience so much joy in so many spurts, but an excellent matchup, an absolutely excellent matchup. I love that Mariah May never got involved. She completely stayed neutral. I don't know if people even noticed, but she was even dressed like Miss Elizabeth at WrestleMania. Oh god, was that WrestleMania 5? Very similar situation between Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. Like I love the way that they played this. Absolutely loved it. Tony Storm had a excellent introduction, being dressed as a Statue of Liberty, which was great. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if Mina Shirakawa is supposed to show up more in AEW, but honestly, Tony Khan would be very dumb to not find a way to get her back and like use her more, because she is fucking delightful. Yeah, she's fucking great. And she just came across like an absolute star here. If you weren't already a fan of Mina Shirakawa, I mean, she has her own hashtag, We Want Mina. And after watching this match, that's going to be trending once again. But absolutely great matchup. Absolutely adored it. Had a lot of fun with this match. Had a lot of fun. So yeah, solid A for me. Moving on, we had Orange Cassidy taking on arguably the best technical wrestler in the world, in Zack Sabre Jr. And so he went ahead and wrestled Zack Sabre Jr. a couple years ago at Forbidden Door, before he was signed to AEW. Orange Cassidy wrestled Will Ospreay in a match that I still think put Orange Cassidy on the map in the eyes of a lot of people, just because of the style he was able to wrestle against Will Ospreay and how great that match was. And it's a similar thing here. A lot of people feel like Orange Cassidy is just a joke wrestler, a comedy wrestler. The thing about Orange Cassidy is that it just adds to his persona. He has that gear to go ahead and be serious and be angry. And the story they're telling right now with Orange Cassidy downward spiraling, losing these big high profile matches, it's going to be very interesting to see how they go ahead and continue with this. Because I think a darker, more just depressed Orange Cassidy, I think there's a lot that you could tell a story there from. But at the end, this was really a story of Zack Sabre Jr. going ahead and trying to be a technical wizard, and Orange Cassidy finding ways, despite his sloth-like personality to go ahead and stay in the match. But in the end, Zack Sabre Jr. tied up. I can't even describe how he tied Orange Cassidy up. It's something you're just gonna have to watch yourself. But the way he turned Orange Cassidy up, tied him up like a pretzel. Orange Cassidy actually had to use his head to actually tap out. It was fucking crazy, but it was awesome. Absolutely adored it. So yeah, this match was great. This was again another. I don't want to hear people say Orange Cassidy can't wrestle, because this is one of those matches where you go, he's going against one of the best technical wizards in the world, if not the greatest one, and he's able to stand right alongside him. There's a point where Orange Cassidy busted out a Texas Cloverleaf, and I was fucking shocked. I was like, really? But Orange Cassidy absolutely crushed it in this match. What I really like is that after the bell, Orange Cassidy was sitting there like in his black t-shirt, just looking completely just depressed. And hearing the return of the Pixies, Where Is My Mind, as he went ahead and walked to the back, we're clearly getting some shades to the Orange Cassidy character outside of him just not caring. So I'm really excited to see where this ends up. So continuing on, we had a trios match. We had Chris Jericho, the FTW champion, Big Bill, and Jeff Cobb of New Japan Wrestling. Fucking love Jeff Cobb. Taking on Katsuyori Shibata, Hook, and then Samoa Joe. I'm loving the trio of Shibata, Hook, and Joe, by the way. I have talked about this. I think AEW has outgrown Chris Jericho. I don't think Chris Jericho needs to be in AEW anymore. I really wish he would just retire and go away. I am over Chris Jericho. And he was flat out met with please retire chants, which I'm like, people, I like, again, you don't always want to listen to the fans because the fans don't always know what they want. I think it's pretty universal, though, that most people are like, we are over Jericho and we don't want this shit anymore. So Chris Jericho, despite his shitty politics, because, you know, his wife was at the insurrection on January 6th. Everyone needs to not forget that. I understand what Jericho meant to AEW. I understand that he was like the first big star, to go ahead and sign. I understand that, you know, he brought mainstream appeal to AEW at a time where they were building their audience and people didn't know what it was. I get all that. But this company has outgrown Jericho. I think the problem is that Jericho really hasn't gone away in the 5 years that 5+ years that AEW's been a thing. I'd love Jericho go away for like 6 months and just not be on commentary, not wrestle. Like we need him to just go away. With that said, Hook got the pin on Jericho using his own move, using the Judas effect. That made me pretty happy. Outside of that, yeah, like, it was amazing how there were people trying to chant for Jericho, like, you still got it. And like, so it's like, you still got it. And then a very vocal section of the audience would go, no, you don't. And it's like, y'all, like, this is come on, Tony Khan. Like, I again, I understand you don't want to listen to the fans on every single thing, but this is one of those cases where this shit is just not working. It's time for Jericho to lose that title, and let's get Jericho off TV for 6 months, because I don't want to see Jericho anymore. Fine, pretty good tag match. I really liked the Samoa Joe and Jeff Cobb spots. That's a one-on-one match that needs to fucking happen. New Japan, Tony Khan booked that shit. But yeah, C+. I give it a C+. Moving on to the ladder match to crown a new TNT champion. For those of you who don't know, the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland unfortunately hurt himself at the last pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. So the TNT title has been vacant. So we had this ladder match to go ahead and crown a new champion. El Phantasmo, Leo Rush, Dante Martin, Ring of Honor champion Mark Briscoe, Konosuke Takeshita, and the scapegoat Jack Perry, all battling for the title in a ladder match. So he went ahead and Jack Perry won. Yeah. So I will say I couldn't even begin to recap this match. Ladder matches are just insane. But there were a couple spots where it really looked like these guys were hurt. And I was just like, fuck, I don't like shit. Apparently Leo Rush actually got hurt during the match. And so he's actually gonna have to miss an upcoming show that he had. So I hope Leo Rush gets better sooner than later. I'm very, very, very sorry that he got hurt. Hope he gets better soon. But with that said, I really enjoyed this match. Jack Perry winning is the right decision. The scapegoat. I think Jack Perry is going to be able to do some really fun things with the TNT Championship. It'll be very interesting to see what kind of matches he has, who his first major feud is out the gate on Wednesday. So I'm very curious to see how they book him moving forward. Pardon me. It's almost midnight here, people. Cut me some slack. But yeah, really solid ladder match. I would say, if anything, this matchup shows that Takeshita, they were cheering him like a motherfucker. There were multiple points where it looked like Takeshita might win, and this crowd was all for it. They were like chanting for him. So what that shows is that the crowd's still behind Takeshita. Takeshita honestly should probably be like his second or third feud. If you're already thinking about who can beat Jack Perry for that TNT title, it probably should be Takeshita. He looked great here. He hit a Blue Thunder bomb through these set of tables on the outside of the ring. That spot looked fucking great. So, yeah, but it should be Takeshita's title, I think, to win after Jack Perry. But yeah, highly recommend checking this match out. Moving on, we had the New Japan Strong Women's champion Stephanie Vaquer taking on TBS champion, the CEO, Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, for those of you who don't watch regularly. So, one thing I loved about this match, so for those who aren't familiar with Stephanie Vaquer, highly recommend checking out her stuff. She's done stuff in CMLL, obviously he's done stuff in New Japan. Definitely recommend checking her stuff out. Absolutely came across like a star in this matchup. And one thing that Mercedes Moné does not get nearly enough credit for is her ring psychology. This matchup, there was a point where the crowd clearly, and pretty early on actually, turned on Mercedes Moné because, of course, her being from Boston, her being from Boston and New York being eliminated by the Celtics, they were just booing the shit out of her. And so she went ahead and started working a more heel dynamic and allowing for Vaquer to go ahead and be the babyface. It worked to the benefit of the match. Yeah, it really worked well in the match. Another thing too is Vaquer really looked like she was not only on Mercedes Moné's level, but she looked like she was better than her. She really woman handled her for a good portion of the match. It was absolutely fantastic. Solid A- for me. Like it's so close to being as good as a women's title match. And I'll be honest, I'm gonna go back and rewatch this match. This will probably be the first match I already rewatched the main event, but I typically go back and rewatch these pay-per-views. But this is definitely going to be one match that I seek out early on my rewatch. I really enjoyed this match, and I will say I don't know what Vaquer's I don't know what her contract status is or what have you, but if I'm Tony Khan, he needs to be looking at her for the women's division. The crowd really loved her by the end of the match, and it feels like there's something there. So I would highly recommend, if I'm Tony Khan, to look into that, because she crushed it. Yeah, the women did great in this match. With that said, Mercedes Moné went ahead and won with the Moneymaker, went ahead and became the new champ. So now she's now Mercedes 2 belts. She is still the TBS champion, and is now the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, a belt that really was made for her before she got injured a couple years ago in the tournament finals, taking on Willow Nightingale. So, a good one, a good moment for Mercedes Moné winning the title she should have won a couple years ago. But now Mercedes has got 2 titles, so it's going to be very interesting to see her wrestling for AEW, for New Japan. That allows for some potential TBS title defenses in New Japan, which is a great thing. Some title defenses in CMLL, in AAA. Like it's a huge deal to get Mercedes with 2 belts, but this really opens up her list of opponents quite a bit. With that said, after the match, Mercedes Moné is holding up both belts, and we hear some music play. And it's the long-awaited return of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So let me just say, while I do think sometimes that Britt Baker would win more times than I think she should at points. I'm a huge fan of her work. I really am a big fan of her work, and I was really stoked to see that she's back. Baker hasn't wrestled a match since September, pardon me. So she hasn't wrestled a match since September 16th on Collision. She went ahead and lost in a TBS title match to then champion Chris Statlander. So what is that? October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So almost 10 months since she's wrestled a match. So that's pretty fucking wild. But Britt Baker came back and just stared down Mercedes Moné. So let me just say, All Out or All In is the big UK, the big Wembley show in August. That's a pun intended money match. Dr. Britt Baker DMD versus Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship. That's a money match. That's a marquee match right there. Number one. And number two, the story is right there. Mercedes Moné wants to become the face of the women's division, but before she can do that, she has to take on the woman who's been really the face of the women's division from the early days of AEW. That's your story right there. So that's going to be a great match. The way we get there is going to be interesting, because one thing I hate that WWE does, and they do it especially a lot with this woman I'm about to mention, Charlotte Flair just kind of seems to show up and go, oh yeah, I'm Charlotte Flair, I'm getting a title match. And then the WWE just goes, yep, here you go. Here's your title match. I don't want them doing that shit with Britt Baker. She should have to earn it. So I'm assuming Britt will be there in Chicago for Beach Break on Wednesday. The build starts there. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they book Baker and how we go ahead and get to her versus Mercedes. So, pardon me, but I'm really excited for that match. That's gonna be a huge match when we get there. Pardon me. All right, moving on. We had the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match: Jon Moxley versus Tetsuya Naito of New Japan. I'm not gonna lie. This is really the one match for me that I was not crazy about. I was pretty disappointed in this match, to be honest, because Moxley and Naito had this great match in Chicago at the Windy City Mayhem, I think that's what the event was called. where Moxley became the champion. I watched that match. I thought that match was excellent. So I was really hoping for something in the same vein here, but this match just, it never got out of first gear. It felt like it always just kind of felt like it was a good match, but not a great match. It was weird. Moxley went ahead and was like targeting Naito's knees, but Naito didn't really sell it. Yeah, like for this being a title match for New Japan's IWGP Championship, the crown jewel of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the match never felt like it hit that gear, had the importance that it should for such a big title match. At the end of the day, I would still, I would say, this is like I probably guess a C. I'd say C plus, because I do think it started to pick up near the end, but yeah, this is probably my biggest disappointment, because I really thought we would get something more akin to their last match. But I thought commentary did a good job of putting over like the shame that Naito felt by having a quote outsider unquote beat him for the New Japan Wrestling Championship. So I really liked that, but I was expecting more from this match. So I was disappointed on that front. So yeah, I'd say C plus on this match. Yeah. And then that took us to the main event, the AEW World Champion, Swerve Strickland, taking on the Aerial Assassin and the AEW International Champion, Will by God Ospreay. So I thought this was the All In match. I thought we were getting this match at All In. I'm still kind of surprised we got the match this early, but fuck it, I don't care. This has been a dream match for me since Ospreay signed with AEW, and I was just like, cool, give me this match at some point. We got it. And for as high as my expectations were, and my expectations were fucking high, I didn't even think that they would be able to like potentially hit what they did. And they did. This match was fucking excellent, and it continues to add to Swerve Strickland's insane catalog here of matches since he's been AEW champion. Straight up, when and I'm just gonna go through a couple matches that he's had since he became champion. So ever since he beat Samoa Joe at not Wrestle Dream, at AEW Dynasty, he beat him back in April 21st. Ever since then, Swerve has had the following matches: match against Kyle Fletcher, banger. Match against Claudio Castagnoli for the championship on Collision, April 27th. One of my favorite matches of the year. Match against Brian Cage, May 15th on Dynamite, banger. Match against Nick Wayne, damn good match on Dynamite on May 22nd. Had a matchup that I freaking adore against Christian Cage, defending the title, May 26th, AEW Double or Nothing. Has a great match against Killswitch on AEW Dynamite on the 29th. Then goes ahead and beats Roderick Strong in another great match for the AEW Championship. That was June 5th. And then goes ahead and teams with Will Ospreay this past week. Defeats Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Leona teaming up with Will Ospreay. And then that gets us to here. This match went 27 minutes, 6 seconds for this matchup. They gave these guys time to work. They let them go ahead and get their shit in. And let me just say, before I get too much in this, a shout out to Will Ospreay, who unfortunately lost his grandmother this week. If you haven't watched it yet, he put out this pretty emotional video on X talking about it and how, he's just feeling all the emotions right now. And, he just really asked the fans to, he basically said it's going to be a long show. I know that, but save just a little for us. And this crowd was on their feet for this whole fucking match. They were invested in everything these guys did. Bottom line, there are multiple counters to things. Will Ospreay has that hidden blade, sliding elbow that is just fucking devastating. Swerve hit that on him. Ospreay ended up hitting the hidden blade, but the ref was knocked out. One thing that always does irritate me, it's bullshit. It's a bullshit excuse, but there are people who say AEW doesn't tell stories. And one of the stories from I guess it would have been last year's Forbidden Door is that Don Callis, because Will Ospreay is a member of the Don Callis family, that screwdriver helped Will Ospreay beat Kenny Omega to become the IWGP United States champion. And so tonight, once the referee was knocked out, Don Callis went ahead and tried to hand Will Ospreay that same screwdriver, and Ospreay wouldn't use it. And so in the build up to this match, Swerve kept saying that, Will Ospreay's not a killer, that he doesn't have that killer instinct to do whatever it takes to become champion. And at the end of the day, he was technically right. Ospreay wouldn't cheat. He went ahead and tried to do it, the noble way, and he ended up losing. One thing I love about this match is there are a lot of people, because I'll see it in a lot of people were like, Swerve's going to lose Ospreay. And I was sitting there like, I don't think it's the time. Like, I don't think Tony Khan is dumb enough to derail Swerve's momentum. Plus, Will Ospreay hadn't lost a match yet. So I went, he hadn't lost a one-on-one match since he signed with AEW. Like, I think he's like 17-0, 18-0, something like that. Will Ospreay's been putting on bangers too, by the way, since he signed with AEW. Like, it's been absurd. Just the match he had with Takeshita and Bryan Danielson alone are just 2 match of the year candidates. But I love the way this match was paced. It started off slow and just built and built and built until that last 10 minutes. It's just insanity in the best way. They kept Will Ospreay looking strong because it took a lot to put him down. He kicked out of a Swerve Stomp. He kicked out of a house call. So it actually took 2 house calls and then the big business power driver to go ahead and put Will Ospreay away. Absolutely banger match. Shout out to Jim Jones, who went ahead, Dipset, who went ahead and walked Swerve Strickland to the ring. That was pretty great. But at the end of the day, Will not having the killer instinct, not wanting to cheat, went ahead and cost him. And Don Callis technically cost him because he distracted him. Will Ospreay has a international title defense on Wednesday against Daniel Garcia. I've been saying it since they announced the match. I think Daniel Garcia wins it. I think Daniel Garcia becomes the international champion. And I think Wednesday is the clean break from the Don Callis family, because I think Callis costs Ospreay inadvertently again, and Ospreay just snaps. So I think that's where we're heading. Plus, I think it's Daniel Garcia's time. But getting back to the end of the match, though, I love this match. This is another, once again, match of the year candidate between with 2 of the best wrestlers in the industry right now going at it. This match felt like a big deal. It felt like a big time title fight. It had a big match aura to it. I absolutely adored it. Absolutely adored this match. This is my match of the night. A+ to the highest degree. I absolutely adore this match. I absolutely adore this match. So as far as my final rating, I gotta give this an A. This was fucking great. The matches that I really wanted to deliver, outside of the Moxley Naito match, delivered. Both women's matches were fucking excellent. The ladder match was fun. Cassidy versus Sabre Jr. was great. Danielson, Takagi was great. It was just, it was a great show, really start to finish. Did you need to have 4 matches on the kickoff show? Probably not. But here's the thing. I would rather have a show that's too long that I can go ahead and revisit than get a 5-match pay-per-view. Like, I would rather have shows be longer like this so that I'm getting my fucking money's worth. So I absolutely adored this pay-per-view. AEW just really does not miss when it comes to pay-per-views. This was a great showing, and the fact that AEW and Stardom and CMLL and New Japan are all able to play nice and put on a great show. Hell yeah, I'm so excited that we're getting organizations doing this more and more, and we really do need to thank AEW for being the ones to really spearhead this in terms of American wrestling. Because before WWE was doing this shit again, it was AEW who introduced the Forbidden Door. So we have to give Tony Khan and everyone involved credit for that. But yeah, this is a solid A show. I adore this show. And the next show is All In, I believe is the next one. Let me see. AEW pay-per-view schedule. Yeah, I believe the next one is All In. Yeah, All In. So August 25th is the next show. That's the London show. So what I will say is I'm really excited for that show. I will definitely have I didn't do predictions, or at least recorded predictions this time, but I for sure will definitely do them before All In as we get closer to the card, obviously. But yeah, so this week I'm going to get back to streaming. I'm going to get back on a stream schedule this week. I am going to stream on the 4th of July. Actually, I may stream July 3rd. I don't know. I'm going to stream either on the 3rd or the 4th. But I'm going to have a review for Team America World Police this week to celebrate the 4th. I might do a live watch along for AEW Beach Break. I'll let y'all know. I'll update the streaming schedule. But yeah, really, really great show. Really excited to see where AEW goes moving forward. And I'm really excited for this Wednesday's Dynamite. So I will definitely get y'all my thoughts on that this week for sure. Like I said, I might do a live watch along, but I will let y'all know. I'll get you updated on that sooner than later. But everyone, as far as what's coming up, I've got reviews coming up this week for Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3, as well as a Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. I'll have a review up for A Quiet Place Day 1, as well as a review for Despicable Me 1, 2, and 3, and the new upcoming Despicable Me 4. And then as well, a review for Maxine coming up as well. And then I've got some reviews for some indie films, along with reviews coming up, including for Goldilocks and the Two Bears, Midas, and Queen Rising. I'm going to have those up later on in the week. So a lot of content coming your way, y'all. So make sure you're going ahead and you subscribe. You can go ahead and follow me here on Twitch at twitch.tv/therealpineapple. You can follow me on YouTube. Go ahead and like and subscribe. It definitely helps me out. Just search The Real Pineapple, REEL Pineapple on YouTube. And then subscribe to the podcast pretty much wherever you listen to them. SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcasts, name a few, at The Real Pineapple. You can follow me on the Twitter and Instagram and, TikTok at JHunter, Real Pineapple. That's J Hunter, and then REEL, and then Pineapple. And you can follow me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam. Thank you so much for listening, y'all. Thank you so much for staying up late with me. It is almost midnight, so I'm gonna go to bed. Probably not. I'm gonna probably go on Letterboxd for a bit, but my voice is tired, and so I'm gonna go ahead and rest it. But as I said, y'all, got lots of stuff coming up for y'all this week. Don't forget to subscribe so you know what's coming out, and never forget, as always, to keep it real. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll talk to y'all soon.